Greetings, gamer guys and gals. Welcome to part number 53 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 5 Thracia 776. Having overcome countless obstacles, Leaf finally stood before the gates of Castle Munster. Better known today as the Fiend's Lair, the castle towered above the city, intimidating the Liberation Army with its sheer size. Once, Leaf had fled these very walls as a mere fugitive, but now he returned as a conqueror. He stood ready to rescue a lost loved one, and in so doing, usher in a new era. Alright, so we got a good glimpse at the look of this chapter. This is probably top 3, one of the top 3 hardest chapters in this entire game, especially for the end game, casually. If you know what you're doing, you can avoid all of the supposed difficulty. You'll notice that a lot of these Loptrians down here, these ones just have Jormungandr. They're meant to attack your party. You actually have, interestingly enough, 3 separate parties. One that will start here, one that will start at the very south, right here, and one that will start, I believe, in this room. And coming to grips with this chapter is a little bit rough. We have Silent Staff, we have a Restore Staff, we have a Rescue Staff, which is not truly that important. All of these guys have staves that are worth taking if you want them. Fenrir, we're going to be silencing and or putting to sleep the overwhelming majority of all of these units, because we want nothing to do with their staves, their status staves. I strongly recommend it. Casually, even if you're not going to quote-unquote trivialize this game, just use Blizzard, use Sleep, use Silence, do something. They're not what I would call units you want to mess with. Now, interestingly enough, we have to be very careful and mindful of these Loptrians here. They are going to want to capture or attempt to kill our civilians here. There is a side objective in this chapter, and that is opening up this door up here. Actually, there's 2 side objectives in this chapter. We're going to talk about the second one in a moment. Opening up this door here can only be done by the boy civilians, one of them randomly, and I believe from turn 5 and onward, and no sooner. Once you open it, there's going to be a chest in here that's going to have a specific staff that we need. This unlocks the Gaiden chapter after this. And particularly, it's an important one if you want a certain character back. You need to have that staff in your inventory when you complete this chapter. You don't just unlock this door, you don't just get the chest, you need to have it in your inventory, you need to have it doesn't matter if it's on your character or if it's sent to the convoy, it just has to be in your inventory. Now, interestingly enough, up here is where the secret shop of this game is. If you are going B route, and if you can refrain from doing Xavier's fight, or I should say Xavier's recruitment, in such a way that you don't have to KO any of the Leonster Knights, soldiers I should say, in Chapter 18, you get the member card, and plus the character that you get in Route B has Bargain, so he gets half off. You can get pretty much any stat booster you want, and I do believe they're unlimited purchase. Not necessary. I've never done it, don't need it, don't want it. Most of the characters that you have in this game don't need anything of the sort. So it's there if you want it. It's just not something I'm going to be taking advantage of. Now, with that being said, I do have to do a lot of managing of items and units, so we will be right back. Alright, and the sorting of items and moving of units has been taken care of. So we are bringing an odd scroll, an extra scroll on Leaf, and a Blizzard on him as well. You'll see why in a moment. However, the rest of our units here, they're just going to have best weapons they possibly can, best items they possibly can, and staves, as well as every combative unit that could potentially see combat that we can afford is going to have a scroll on them. That's why Leaf is not keeping that Ode scroll. He doesn't need to. There's going to be someone he's giving that to. So we can just go ahead and deploy. Chapter 24, The Baron in Black.
Raedric, do I hear correctly that you've allowed these rebels to invade the castle? If your eminence would grant me more time, I'll see to it that vermin are wiped out. Don't promise more than you're capable of. It's obvious to anyone with eyes that the rebels have the overwhelming advantage. Even for you, this is pathetic. I thought you'd at least be more useful than this, but it seems I overestimated you. I wash my hands of you, Raedric. Our alliance has come to an end. Wait, Bishop Vel, please. If you abandon me now, I... Not above begging, are we? Oh, very well. I'll consider this a dead man's last request. I shall spare you a battalion of sorcerers from the esteemed Welkenrosen. Don't let your guard down, Prince Leaf. There aren't many of Raedric's men left, but he's made up the difference by hiring a slew of sellswords. The most dangerous them of all is a swordsman by the name of Galzus. Challenging him directly is suicide. Galzus, you say? What should we do about him then? Our only option is to lure him in close enough for me to ambush him with the Tome of Forseti. Yet even I don't know if that will defeat him. We barely have enough troops to stage such a diversion. Augustus, why did you insist on splitting our army in three? Divide and conquer, of a sort. The second group is to rescue the children, and the third will arrest the Lotrian bishops. As their tasks are a race against time, that was all the more reason to send them in ahead of us. Rescuing the children goes without saying, but why bother with the Lotrian bishops? There's a place of worship in the east wing of the castle where the Lotrians congregate. The bishops there pose a grave threat to our army, as they wield berserk and sleep staves. I see. So the task of defeating Raedric falls solely to our group then. Indeed. There won't be time for the others to circle back around and rejoin us. We're certainly in for a difficult battle, Prince Leaf. Leave the weaker foes to me. You just focus on Raedric. Understood. No matter what it takes, I'll cut him down. Well, Leaf, you would get your time to shine, but unfortunately, I don't intend on using you to cut down Raedric. Might be a little anticlimactic to say that, especially so soon, but we are definitely going to take care of Raedric somehow. Alright, so who do we want to sleep first? The Lotrian bishop right to my immediate right. Odd Scroll, Blizzard. And, yep, time to go to bed. I do believe he's the only Restore Staff user over there. If that's the case, that means none of these guys have any chance now. Funnily enough, enemies cannot make trades with each other in this game, something that is actually pretty familiar in later games in the series, so you don't really have to worry about that all told. Alright, so we're going to attack with the Blizzard. We want to put the Sleep Staff user away. And he is, I believe, you? No, that's the Berserk. We're taking care of all of these relatively very soon, so it doesn't matter either way. So the Sleep Staff user is here. Would be nice if we procced a movement star, but I'm not going to make any bets on that.
Alright, Ocean can move on downward. Equip the Vouge. Dean is joining us just because I think he is an interestingly good unit. Particularly. And the Brave Bow. Yes, I did put that on him. Do we have an Ensorcel over here? No, and I actually think that that would be a waste of Ensorcel use anyhow. So 2 of these bishops will... Actually, all 3 of them will be able to reach. Xavier. Brave Bow. Perfect. Awesome, even. Alright, so you can only reach right there, so we're actually going to move right here. We're going to silence the Berserk user. Very important that we do all of this. Weapon level increased. Is that A rank already? Yes, it is. Wow, impressive. So, let's see. We have a Hell. We have Fenrir. We need to silence that because that is long range. The Fortify as well. And the Rescue and the Silence need to be taken care of. So we actually still have several units to take care of in that matter. What we could do is use a silence on Tina. The only problem is it's not necessarily guaranteed to hit. As we know, Tina has some pretty bad... let's see, I think... Alright, we're going to have to check. Oh, darn it, I did not mean to do that. So Fenrir is right here. The Fortify and the Rescue we have to get rid of. So this one, and this one. Alright, we have plenty of units by which we can do this with, so it's not that big a deal. Sarah has 1 silence left. So let's go ahead and take care of that, shall we? This guy actually needs to be silenced as well. Alright, Linowin has 3 silences. You need to go. And I think we just have 2 more to get. The Fortify and the Fenrir, which is right here. The rest of them don't matter so much. We do have a Sleep Staff. We can use that as well. We do want at least 1 use of the Sleep Staff remaining. So let's sleep this Fenrir user. The Fortify Staff user absolutely needs to be put to sleep as well. And then, let's see. Unfortunately, it looks like we can't put the Fortify user to sleep right now. What we can do, however, is we're actually going to be turning on animations again. Wonderfully so. Moving and opening up that door. No, he cannot reach. I mean, he could potentially proc a movement star. Let's try. He did not. Alright. We're going to dance. And then Nana needs to start taking out these units here. Perfect. Awesome. Very strange she has 20 crit. I don't understand why that would be. 20 critical. She's not getting any critical from the Earth Sword. That is kind of strange, actually. Bolting. We could crit here, but I don't know that that's necessarily something that we're going to be able to rely on. And then we have... Shroff here. He can't really do anything right now, unfortunately. Except for move up. I mean, he could give you the Dire Thunder and warp. And that is, I believe, level 20 Shroff. We're not going to be able to promote him, unfortunately, but what can you do, right? And I think that's pretty much everybody. I mean, we do have Dean here that we could move. I suppose I could let Dean take a hit, potentially. Seems kind of unnecessary, but it would help with the Latrians. Yeah, so these guys just want to capture the civilians. They won't KO them, per se. And here's Olwen dismounted. We never actually saw her animations mounted, which is a shame. But like I said before, I think it's just for the best to play this game with animations off for the concise, speedy nature of a Let's Play. This Let's Play would be probably 100 episodes or longer if all the animations had been on from the start. So I did want to show animations accurately at the beginning, and at the end, we're going to be able to use the animations, these glorious animations, to our fullest wonder. Be able to enjoy them and whatnot. So the actual best unit to attack these guys here is my wonderful Nana. The only reason why I did this with Olwen is so that they wouldn't swarm this area particularly. And I figured we could anyhow, so why not? But anyone with Vantage and a Brave Weapon, a ranged Brave Weapon particularly, is just extremely powerful against these enemies. Alright, so actually attacking Ocean. Interesting. What's funny about that is that, I mean, I guess he would do way less damage to Xavier because Xavier has much more magic than someone like Ocean. Much more. But the thing is that Xavier is literally wielding a bow right now. And that was a good old miss. Of course, we have the Brave Bow on Xavier. It is his best weapon. So one of the cool things about the Brave Bow is that because it's not preferential, anybody can use it. And this is something that I absolutely adore. Especially considering that Selphina, though she is at a B rank when she starts, well, I mean, Xavier is at an A rank. He can use that bow to perfect usability as well. And I appreciate that because in the late game, I feel like Selphina definitely falls off as compared to Xavier. Now, granted, because of the Bravo's high crit, you never actually have to worry about Selphina truly falling off. As long as she gets crits, She's going to double or even quadruple. She's of no need to worry about concerning the late game of Thracia. Oh yeah, I did mean to, well, I guess because of my positioning I couldn't have possibly. I could not have possibly traded out that blizzard. Now, hilariously, now this is something that I will never do because I think that it breaks the game. It's not something that you can just use to trivialize the game. However, with the Thief Staff on Tina, you can actually steal the Loptrian Fang from Raedric if you do something funny. So all you have to do is give Raedric, with the steal command by another enemy, you give Raedric a ranged weapon, attack him, or let somebody stay in his range, and he'll be able to attack them. Now, Raedric here, he's a Baron. Level 20, he is one of the two main antagonists of this game, and technically one of the final bosses. He has a follow-up critical modifier of 0, and pretty underwhelming stats. Now, of course, he is getting a buff to his defense on the throne and his avoid. So he's getting 30% avoid and 10 defense. So he does actually have 26 defense. The avoid is calculated here, so he has 66 avoid in total. His stats are not really all that great. I showed us on several occasions we had Barons or other such units who had better stats. Part of the reason why they did was because they weren't on thrones or gates. So Raedric is getting those buffs particularly. Now, I hate his weapon. The reason why I hate his weapon is because it doesn't have range. It's a preferential weapon, 70 hit, 15 might, 0 crit, 1 range, 20 weight. He's not weighed down by this, which is hilarious. Raedric only. Halves enemies' attack power, gives plus 20 magic. So how you can steal this with the Thief Staff, because it weighs too much to steal with a thief, is you just give him, through the steal command, a bow or some ranged weapon. You leave an enemy within 2 range or whatever. He attacks him with that weapon, so he equips that weapon. Then you can use the Thief Staff to remove his Loptrian Fang because he'll no longer have 28 magic. The reason why he has 28 magic is so you can't ensorcel a staff user and then just, or like Tina, I should say, you can't ensorcel Tina and just steal his Loptrian Fang right away. I think this breaks the game a bit, and I don't appreciate it, especially because part of the whole efficacy of Raedric and effectiveness of this boss in general is the fact that the Loptrian Fang reduces all attack power. So that's just pure reduction. That means that you could have a 40 attack power with a weapon, like for instance on Ced with max magic and his Forseti, and actually you'll only have a 20, which means you'll do 0 to Raedric. However, if you crit, you just double that again. So no, you would not do 0. You can still kill Raedric with somebody like Ced. It's much more difficult, but it is possible, especially because Raedric has no ranged attack, which I think is really unfortunate. The Loptrian Fang is otherwise not the greatest weapon in this game. I mean, I think that in comparison, there's a whole lot better preferential weapons, and if I was to do one thing concerning the balance of Raedric in this game, I would just give him 1 to 2 range. He's got 20 magic added onto his base magic with this weapon. If he had a magical ranged attack, he would be formidable. He would be quite a threat. Now he has 5 authority stars, 1 vigor star, 6 movement, A rank in every single thing in the game except for wind, which he has C, and no light or dark. He also has Pavis, which is a level % chance to negate enemies' attacks. So he has a 20% chance to just say, nope, I won't take your damage, even with the fact that he's already halving damage. Now, the Braggy's Blade removes that effect, and then it's also a triple effective. I don't really understand why they thought it was necessary for it to be triple effective. I fail to. I mean, I guess I get it, but it could have had less might because it's just busted. Without the effect, you have, let's say you have a capped out strength leaf, so you have 20 strength plus 45. You have 65 attack power. He has a 26 defense. You're doing 49 damage a hit, and oftentimes your leaf is going to double Raedric. 49 damage a hit. That's wild. It's incredibly wild. And there's so many other characters who can use it as well. Unfortunately, Galzus moved, and he is way too close. Galzus here is incredibly annoying, specifically because the man has a lot of Vigor stars, so we're actually going to have to stay out of his way. He has 7 movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to have to move like all the way back, which seems very counterproductive, but otherwise you are going to have dead units. And we don't want dead units. We want alive units. Units that can deal with all of these monstrous enemies. So who has... Okay, this guy has the Fortify. We're actually going to put him to sleep with the Blizzard. Very nice. We did not need to crit there. But Sed will oftentimes say, I want to crit regardless. He does have a Master Axe and a Flame Sword. I don't know necessarily what he's going to use against Merida, but I am fully thinking about... he's not going to have any follow-up critical, so that doesn't matter. And at range, it also doesn't matter. So I was thinking about potentially leaving her within his range because of just like baiting particularly. We don't any longer need to worry about staving any of this room, so that's pretty awesome. We are berserked though. Do we have a restore staff? Yes, we do. Very good that we do. Let's go ahead and Brave Bow you. Weapons like the Brave Bow are incredible for Xavier because he has no follow-up critical modifier, so you want him to be able to attack multiple times on his first attack if you want him to crit. So that's why it's awesome. That it also accounts for Adept, so he can attack up to 4 times with the Brave Bow before he even has to deal with his 0 follow-up critical modifier. That's why Brave weapons are particularly good on him. And then we are going to Staff and Restore. Yeah, the staves in this game kind of look really silly in my opinion. At least they all have different looks and different intriguing styles, I suppose you could say, but they all look kind of silly to me. Alright, so let's use Graph Caliber. I actually get to see this tome being used. And we'll obviously be able to see Forseti being used as well. Other than that, we don't really have much to do. We could take on the majority of these units if we wanted, especially because most of them don't have like anything that could severely threaten my enemies, especially or my teammates, especially because we have units over here that are asleep. We could take Berserk staves, we could take Sleep staves. I'm thinking about doing just that, but we don't necessarily need any of it in all reality. And then we can just use the Master Sword here with Amalda and take out that Lotrian. This is particularly what I'm talking about with needing a unit to have utility even when dismounted. So the female paladins are awesome for that. You don't get very many of them, obviously, but they're awesome for that because of the fact that they are capable. We could take out one of these guys. Technically, we're not actually taking them out unless we crit. I don't think that's worth it. But we are going to move up. We have plenty of dire thunder uses. So there's not very many female paladins, but of the ones you get, it is very useful to take advantage of them for the case of having swords and staves dismounted. That's an awesome combination, considering that swords are, in my humble opinion, the best weapons in this game. And staves are the best items in the game, so you can consider staves a weapon, but they're more utility. Armalda is one of very few units in this game. I think her and Nana are the only characters you have who can do this, who can wield the flame sword and get the +5 magic while also using particularly, well, we can rescue. Well, how much constitution do we have? 5, 0. So this guy's not going to weigh Shrove down, which would be nice. Yeah, that's nice. For the time being. Oh, you know what? The children might be KO'd, and if they are... Oh, this is probably going to be a restart. That's unfortunate. Oh well, we're going to be finding out very shortly here. Alright, Owen, take out this Lotrian. Usually I use Nana for this, but I'm having a good time using Olwen. She's a fantastic unit. This guy's just going to keep ensorceling all these guys, like... And it's not going to help anyone. Unfortunately for him. Aw, Salem, you shouldn't have. You get hit again, you're most likely dead, and we're restarting regardless. Yep, we absolutely have to block this pathway out. Yep, there we go. Well, we're restarting, obviously. But I do want to say I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to go ahead and bid our farewells, especially given the fact that we have to restart. It is nearing what I would say the end of any particular episode. I do want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe depending on your platform, and while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.